I really seek to present a universal feminine conveyance in the figures in my work, so that the viewer sees the figures in the work as women, and there's always this overriding suggestion of conflict or a stance against an unseen antagonist that is confrontational. So typically the female figures are depicted in a strong warrior stance, or possibly a mother figure, or sisters or siblings that are mutually supporting each other. It's really more about the female figure in some dynamic. The power that I kind of try to find in these figures is depicted in how they are navigating this implied or dangerous situation or overriding suggested narrative. The gender is very important in my work, extremely important. It really is the foundation for everything. And it begins with me, as a man, trying to understand what gender inequality is and what it's been about. Really, the work is about this constant struggle, this battle for balanced gender rights. I'm the father of two young girls, age 20 and 17 now, and I've seen these struggles firsthand with them. And it's kind of mind-blowing that we're in 2020, and there are still so many gender inequalities, and the playing field is not particularly level at all. And it seems crazy unfair to me that things are the way they are. So I'm very conscious of even the historical context of feminism and how that this social movement for equality between women and men has been ongoing for generations now. The use of conflict and battle in my work is a really great pictorial tool to establish strong compositions for multi-figure work. It's a great starting point, really, to find that exquisite geometry, to manage multiple figures in a piece. And it's also, content-wise or narrative-wise, it is really the base for most of my work, in that the conflict almost always gives rise, or the suggestion of, political context. It also is a great narrative tool to establish figures in extreme dynamic poses. And really for me, that's another linchpin in my work is the intensity of the stance of each figure also helps to establish the mood and in some ways the identity of that character, that person. To help me there, I look a lot at dance, modern dance, classical ballet. That's a great place to study the figure in one of its most expressive dynamic stance or poses or situations. I look a lot also at the Italian Renaissance, just outstanding multi-figure compositions, just unbelievable structure and geometry that I am always searching for. I feel that the composition and the way the building blocks of the painting begin with finding that exquisite geometry. The significance of the faces of the women depicted in my work being wrapped or covered or shrouded is really to present kind of an anonymous every woman, someone that does not answer or give the viewer all of the answers as to who this person is, where this person comes from, race, identity, culture. I really want these figures to be wrapped almost in kind of a historical martyr context where you do not get to see them. You are denied that entry to see the face. The use of sewing patterns in my work really began in my last year of graduate school. I was looking for a material that aligned closer to what I wanted to say in the painting itself. I had come out of a time period of making very aggressive, kind of male-centric abstract work, and I really wanted to move away from that, and I wanted to find a material so that the paintings are made from a material that actually aids in the narrative or what you want the work to say. And it's kind of funny, I really stumbled across the pattern pieces when my wife was making aprons. She had all of these patterns spread out on our kitchen table, and the crazy part is she was actually starting early labor for our second daughter, and we both kind of like, oh boy, here we go. And so I was sitting with her, and I'm looking at these patterns, and I'm like, boy, these remind me of the model parts and instruction parts that I used to get when I used to build ships and tanks and planes, and I really felt that there was something very constructive and kind of diagrammatic about them that appealed to me. And long story short, our second daughter was born healthy and beautiful, and I had just cartons full of material to play with over the next couple of years. And I really started looking at, what these events meant, the birth of our second daughter, and my quest to find some work that really everything kind of culminated in the right way, and it was in plain sight. It was, as the father of two girls, and I grew up in a household of boys, and it really forced me to assess, hey, what does this mean? What is it going to mean for them? And I felt like, there's something there in this material. There's something that I can take from its normal functional context as a garment template, and to place it, kind of superimpose it on a painting of feminist content and origin. And it was very clumsy in the beginning, but over time the material really started to speak on its own. In some ways, I was just the lucky voyager on this one. I just let it kind of lead me, and I obviously I researched a lot into feminism, and just it was kind of getting a bucket of cold water thrown over your head. It definitely woke me up to a lot of social imbalance and inequality in regards to gender in a major way. And I felt lucky that I had a material that really was the building blocks for the work.